Okay, YouTubers, here comes another video, and I almost have to apologize because I know this is supposed to be a van life channel, but I've realized it's turned more into like a podcast while driving kind of thing. But camping season's coming, so hopefully we'll get back to normal soon. Either way, I hope you enjoy.
I think we're working now. Good morning. It is 8:30 in the morning, right, boys?
Yes.
We are heading back to Ohio. We have to liberate Eduardo. Got to go get the van, finish cleaning up the house, do a couple paperworky kind of things, and then I'll be a Youper. It is weather's weather. Apparently it decided to rain again today, which doesn't bother me. It can rain when we come back. It can rain. I don't care. There's people out fishing. So, yeah.
If they don't care out in a boat,
They don't
we sure
care.
shouldn't care.
I don't care if they don't care. We shouldn't care.
54 degrees.
8:31 in the AM, and obviously rain-looking clouds.
We're going to have some cooler weather for the next week.
Yeah. So we'll talk about next to nothing on the drive back, like those of you that keep watching this have become accustomed to. And yeah, that's it. It'll be good to get this done and over with finally. Not too high in the stress factor. The dog is at his palatial play place. He's being watched. Vincenzo, the one-eared diabetic, is not having the greatest morning, but
He's on my lap in his carrier.
Yeah. So that's that. We'll talk later. Yes, we got construction. I gotta slow down. We got construction. It's always good to drive on the weekends because the crews are usually not out actually doing the construction. So you're not held up as long. And it's raining. And it's nasty. And that's okay because, like the voice likes to say, we must have needed it. Needed the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your mic's on.
It's
Sorry.
okay. We do need the rain.
We always need the
We
rain.
didn't get enough snow, so I'm glad we're getting rain.
Yes.
The lakes are pretty low.
Yep. Got to add one great thing about driving in the rain like this is today we won't have to scrape off 5 pounds of dead bugs from the front of this because if you're coming up to the UP, what is today's date?
16th.
It's the 16th of May.
Right?
If you're coming up to the UT,
It's the 17th.
17th of May, the midges are out. The bugs are out and they're heavy. So if you're coming up, it's always best to wait till July if you can, if you're coming up to go camping. That's just my little advice. Wouldn't you agree? Definitely, I would say in June, the southern part of the UP is less buggy than the superior part of the UP. Would you agree, Voice?
Well, that has been our experience when we've been camping.
Yep.
Because a few years ago we did along Lake Superior, and well, you can go back and look at those videos.
It was tough.
Ugh,
We
really
left.
bad fighting flies and mosquitoes, and significantly less down by Lake Michigan.
So yes, next time we talk, I'm going to have her put the microphone on. Hopefully, I think mine probably picked her up pretty decent, but we'll learn. We'll learn. Say hello to Nobbin Way. Are you listening to me, microphone? I don't know. Now it seems like it is.
It's
Yeah.
calm.
Yep. There's a long delay before the mic starts going.
Yeah.
All right, we're going. We're still going.
It's actually farther than you think from Gladstone to the bridge.
We got fog. We got fog this morning at 10:11. So we already been driving an hour and a half. Hour and 40 minutes. That's a lot of fog. All right, that's all we got. We're carrying on.
Can you understand why somebody would want to move here?
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Not as much fog on the land, but a lot over the water. Beautiful Lake Michigan. Right, Vinny? That's right.
He's all stretched out. I'll take a picture.
Chillaxing.
Yeah. Before his leg was up in the air. It was pretty funny.
That's his hooker move.
Well, I was rubbing his belly.
Yep, hooker move.
I was rubbing his, yeah, there. Oh, wait. Get it up there, man. Get it up there, man. There. You rub his belly and that leg shoots up.
Sure, that's standard. All right, we're going to keep going. This is Brevoort Lake. We went over the Cut River Bridge.
How much did the gas gauge come down?
We're just above 3/4 of a tank.
Okay.
278 miles left to go. We don't have to get gas in Gaylord again. Last time it was really expensive.
Yeah.
As I sit here editing this video, I was right. It is a beautiful place, and I totally understand why I'm moving up here. P.S. I know I made the right decision, and I'm so far behind on videos, you should know I already live in the UP officially. Ah.
Oh, my microphone is on. I didn't think I turned it on. I was just going to give a look at all that fog. This spot you can sometimes kind of, no, maybe not yet. I don't think you can see the Mac yet. I guess that makes sense to turn your cruise off if it's really wet, because you could start hydroplaning.
Yeah, sure.
And the car
Kinda
might
like-
not react quickly.
Right, kind of like if it's a winter storm or
Sure.
something like that. I hope we should camp in Brevoort. We should try Brevoort.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of them. We can try them both.
Yeah.
The lake is nice. I remember the lake being nice. And then it's near to this.
Getting there. Getting there on another Uper day.
I like these birch trees here. They're pretty.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
They just have a shorter lifespan.
Well, there's a disease killing birch trees.
Yes, there's that, and they also have a shorter lifespan, which I was reading somewhere is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Even though I'm moving here, you might not want to. Bears will ravage you, and bald eagles will steal your babies. Don't move here.
Well, I was thinking, because when I went to Isle Royal, I took a picture in the video of this tree they were telling us about that's growing off the side of the cliff over Lake Superior up by Grand Marais and Grand Portage, actually close to Grand Portage when you're going to Isle Royal. But anyways, they said that old tree was over 200 years old. Like, that's a tough tree growing. It wasn't that high above the water,
Yeah.
right on that shore of Lake Superior, which is pretty rough. And somebody apparently talked about that tree long enough ago that they know how old it is. About. That's enough of that. Stop. Go. This is nuts. Getting ready to cross the Mackinac Bridge wearing St. Ignace. Not that you could tell. I think it's funny.
Why is it funny?
It's just anytime you cross the bridge, it just seems to be weird crap going on. Like, shouldn't be afraid of heights on this day because you're not going to probably be able to see the damn lake.
That's a good point.
But it's raining. Construction on the bridge. It says tuned to 610. 1610. All right, we're going to cross the bridge soon. This is crazy.
Then merge onto I-75 South.
Yeah, it's very foggy. very, very foggy. Oh, there's construction. We're going to be going slow.
Caution, toll booth.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of traffic today. We'll be going slow. Let's wait till we get up. Gonna do something stupid on the bridge.
You're getting directions.
Yeah, figure it out when you get over the bridge.
Just relax.
Calm down, yo.
Please,
That's a lot of talking up there for somebody crossing a bridge. Ain't nothing to be seen till you cross the bridge. How you doing?
Hi, good. $4 out of traffic, right, Christy?
No, that's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Ooh, smell that. Oh, that water. You can smell how good it is.
Yeah. What is this person doing? Should I try to pass this person on the right? How slow are they going to go? The lights are flashing, like you said, that speed limit today is 35, not 45. I think that's probably because of the construction, not just the weather.
Yeah.
But this person is not going to set any records going across. You got that voice? She's going to do some stuff out there.
I'm going to take a video.
Okay.
Well, basically, all I can see is
Raindrops.
raindrops.
Want me to open the window for you?
No.
We're going 45. You can't even see the top of the bridge. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't see the top of the spires.
Yeah.
Spires. All right, this begins bridge. No, you're on the bridge.
I could have driven, and you could have just closed your eyes.
Yeah, I'd have a harder time being a passenger. I don't know, it is a weird feeling for me, you know, with that little bit of fear of heights. I don't really like looking around all that much.
I do. I
While
like
you're
I like
driving.
looking down over when I'm driving.
Weirdo. But you're afraid of heights worse than I am. Every time I got to a place that's high, you're afraid I was going to fall off.
Well, yeah, I'm afraid you're gonna fall off. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Right. But I'm afraid of heights and I go to the edge. It's weird. Well, close to the edge.
I don't think there's any danger of anything happening on this bridge. It's been here
68 years almost.
since, you know, what
November
the
1st will be 68 years that it opened.
yeah, the 1950s, and what, only
57. Yeah.
3 people went over on it
2.
out of 2? Okay. Out of probably millions
Sure.
since then.
3 boats have hit the bridge. I put it in the last video. One was a smaller boat and nothing really happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm just sad we don't get to drive on the grates till we come home. I like the grates.
She has fun teasing me because she knows my van gets squirrely on the grates and I don't really like it very much.
So you can see the top. All right. That's enough fun and games on this bridge. All I gotta say is it's big.
It's a big bridge.
It does not look as large in the video as it looks.
In person.
Yes.
We're going 20 because somebody's going 20 in a truck. I tell you though, that budget truck,
Like that.
when those semis passed, it went. I crossed it once at night. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's lit up pretty well.
It really is foggy though because you can't see the next tower and you should be able to.
Imagine you're the people that have to paint this thing, huh?
Constantly painting it.
Yes. I noticed when we came up, came the opposite way. I could see a lot of, places where there was rust and peeling, and it's crazy how fast it must happen. We were just going so slow, I was able to look and see those details.
If you're a fan of the Mackinac Bridge and like seeing people cross the bridge, just go to my channel. I think I've crossed this 30 times and filmed it. Good weather, bad weather, all of it. You should check it out.
Look at all the rivets, huh?
Well, that's a lot of rivets.
And they must like sandblast it eventually. Otherwise, there'd be so many million coats of paint on there. Maybe not a billion, but hundreds. Almost done.
Light over there is not as heavily cloudy over on the Huron side.
Uh-huh.
It's not windy.
No.
It's just this bridge when you're driving and you look over, like film the rail, the green rail on the side.
Okay.
It just seems like it would be okay if it was a little taller. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
And look at it. It doesn't look that high. It's like door handle high. And you think,
Sure.
but that curb is going to, if you jump that curb, it's going to trap you between the curb and the green. But it just feels like, you could have made that a foot or two higher. It'd be all right.
I can see you feeling that way if you were driving a semi, but in a car,
Yeah.
nah.
In the van, especially in the wind, where you think, oh, if I skip and touch that curb, I'm in trouble. That's why, again, my grandfather taught me to drive. He said, stay towards the center. Now, not on top of the center line, but on the white line, usually you got a lot of road debris and stuff you could run over and mess up your tires. But when I had that Suburban and a boat, that big boat, I kept the boat tires pretty much on the white line because I didn't have that much extra room. That boat was wide. I tend to stay towards the center. But we're still pretty high up right here even.
Sure.
This is probably 100 feet, maybe 80 feet. I don't know. Minnesota.
I wonder if any of you are watching the clouds move. I think that's pretty cool.
Just a few feet short of 5 miles. One of these days we're going to go to that fort, Macamilliac. It's got a weird name.
Mishamillamak.
Something like that. It's got Mackinac in it, kind of, but not.
I think it's Mish.
It's over here.
Yeah,
That white sign.
Well,
I've driven around down there,
that.
and I've parked over here.
I might have been
To the
there when I
left.
was a little kid, and I just don't remember it because I was like 7 when we went to Mackinac. And yeah, Mackinac.
Right.
Mackinac. Yeah. There you go. It looks like it should be Knack though, but that's not how you say it.
Oh, and there's 2 spellings for
Or
Mackinac.
Knack, I should say. Oh, let's go get some fudge.
Go to the island.
No, you get fudge right here.
It's
Go
not
down
as good.
It's the same company.
It's not as good.
Okay, well,
I'm sure it's just as good. All right, we made it. We crossed the Mackinac Bridge. We're in the lower peninsula.
we didn't go over the
We
edge.
did. We got gas. I see your motorcycle. It's not a good day to motorcycle. Where are we? We could have got jerky. It's the jerky outlet. They had Pringles that were the flavor of the hot ones. I don't know if anybody watches that show. I like that show. It's a good show. I'll go after this car. The guy on my butt want me to go faster, but I was looking at jerky.
Hey! That was bumpy.
Turn
Sorry.
right onto the
Sorry,
I-75
buddy.
South ramp.
We're going to do what this lady told me to do. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
In a quarter mile.
I don't know how far we've gone, but we've gone that far. We realize that the voice has been quiet. I think she's tired. I got to speed up.
I don't know why I'm so tired.
So
I
tired.
think because it's gloomy.
Sure.
I'm really a person that benefits from sun. So when there's not sun, I struggle.
That is true. I don't. Also, you're a person that, like, during COVID and the lockdown and all that, you really had a hard time with it. It didn't bother me much at all.
I struggled a lot.
It
My
didn't
mental
bother
health
me.
was in the toilet.
I was doing great. I had a built-in excuse not to be around people that got on my nerves. It was wonderful. It wasn't wonderful. That's terrible. I mean, 1 million people died. So first of all,
I did not touch another human being with my hands for 1 year.
well, I didn't do that. I was all up in everybody's business. No. No, but
You were a hermit.
I was when I wasn't camping. Like, I went on just as many, if not more, RV trips. You know,
Sure.
I just, this car does a thing that kind of, it's for your safety, but when you got it on cruise, it keeps you a certain distance away. Now, back there, when they just turned off, it almost locked up the brakes, and now it almost floored it. These people must think I'm insane. So, yeah, whatever we were talking about.
COVID.
Yeah.
Hermit.
Hermit. I don't think I was a hermit. No, I have hermit tendencies. But
I think I do more as I'm getting older. Like when I was younger, I always wanted to like go places and be doing stuff, and now I'm just like, I don't feel like it.
I don't know. I always thought I was an extrovert, and I would have thought most people would have thought I was an extrovert. But maybe, I don't know if COVID did it or not having to go into an office for work. You know what I mean? If you're more left to your own devices, you can realize, oh, I really like people, but people also get on my last damn nerve. You know what I mean? So sometimes with COVID and then people working from home and people continue to work from home, I think it did a lot to even pull us all further apart, you know? I don't know if you got thoughts.
Well, I always thought I was an extrovert too, and I was trying to look for this quiz you can do that gives these. I can't think of what it's called right now, but I'll see if I can look it up and tell you, so then you can put it in there.
All right.
But there's this thing you can do, and it assigns, you answer questions, and then it assigns certain letters, and the letters,
Yeah, I've taken that test.
they mean whatever they mean. And I've done it a couple times, and both times I come out almost right in the middle between introvert and extrovert. I always thought I was an extrovert, but man, when I'm with people for more than a lot of people, like my family or whatever, for more than a few days, I need to like have downtime.
It can be a few hours for me.
I never knew that about myself. You
Yeah.
know, I always thought like, oh, I get energized by being around people. If I was that way when I was young, I am somehow changing. And I'm not like that anymore. I'm exhausted when I'm around a group of people for more than just a bit.
Me, it can depend, because I think sometimes I in different groups I take different positions. Like sometimes I take a leadership, and sometimes I take a follower more. And if I'm with a group of people where I'm kind of in charge or a leader or whatever, I'm more good with that. But if I'm following and people are making dumb decisions, it gets on my nerves.
I just looked it up. It's called Myers and Briggs test.
Yeah, I've taken that.
Yeah, do it. You should put the link in the description box. I'll send it to you. Yeah, do it and see where you are. I'm curious to know, like, have you changed as you've gotten older, or
Or do you think you changed since COVID? Because I'm
Right.
telling you, I think COVID changed this country so much, probably the whole world. I haven't been gallivanting around the rest of the world since COVID, but I think it just fundamentally changed people. Our society had already gotten to where we were separating from each other,
Right.
but I think COVID just sped that up like on steroids. And you look now at people, if they're told that they have to go back to the office for work, they start looking for a new job. Because once you get used to that,
Right.
it's hard.
Right.
And I always liked going in. I didn't like getting up in the morning, but I always liked going in and the human interaction. Now, I think I've always been hardworking enough that if I worked from home all the time, I don't have a problem with doing my job. You know, some people do. They need that. And most bosses thinks that everybody's goofing off when they're not.
No. No.
Most people are doing their job. They want to keep their job. I don't know. I think COVID changed everything. And that's not just politically with the intolerance between all groups. It just fundamentally changed how people viewed work. You know, you sat at home for long enough, you developed that fu. You know, I ain't doing that. I don't like that. Where before you just
did it without
stayed
thinking.
on the hamster wheel.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Yeah, people realize, well, I think a lot of people say they're actually more productive when they work from home.
Sure.
And
I feel that way.
I can verify that because I used to call it the job I did before. I'm not going to get into what it was, but I was out in the field, and when I would come to the office, I used to call it, I used to say the suction machine was on, because it was like I'd get into the office and I'd start talking to people, and there was always stuff that people had to ask me questions about. It was hard to get out of the office. It was like a vacuum was sucking me in there. And I tried not to go to the office because I knew that was going to take an hour of my time, and I didn't have an hour.
Get your stuff done.
Yeah. So I get that people realize they can be more productive when they are not in the office because there's too many distractions.
Well, even though through this little talk we've been doing, I complain about people, I like people. So I always enjoyed it more not being from home. And then I look at when you're working from home, look at how many people that affects. When you go to work, usually you go out for lunch, you spend more money, which is bad for you, but it helps the community by, giving people jobs. Now all these companies have all this office space that they're renting. They're paying money for office space, and now people aren't coming in the office.
Sure.
So we got tons of open office buildings because I don't know, it's a difficult situation.
It's a mixed bag too, because I know people who now work from home and they can adjust their schedules.
Sure, it's great.
So they don't have to take their kids to daycare.
Right.
So they have extra money in their pocket.
Sure.
Because they're not paying thousands of dollars a year for daycare.
Sure, but then daycare places have to employ less people, so people are losing their. Everything has.
I'm not sure.
Everything has a butterfly effect.
Sure, but a lot of times daycares have waiting lists.
Sure.
So maybe their waiting lists aren't as long or whatever. I really doubt people are losing their job because there's always
daycare is expensive.
Daycare people aren't losing their jobs because there's always people that need daycare.
Sure. We're going to take a pause, see if we think of anything else, and start talking again. I think I just realized something. I think some people stay out in the left lane because of the new cruise control, adaptive cruise or whatever. Because it drives me crazy how you look down and you're like, oh, the car has slowed down because the people in front of me are going slower. Maybe that's why some people are camping out in the fast lane, passing lane, left lane. Passing lane, I think, is the best description of it. It's still windy. We're still driving. Maybe we'll have something interesting to talk about again.
Yeah, it stopped raining, but now it's windy.
Vinny says, come back for part 2. These humans are going to keep talking and talking.